Let's play another game. 1741. Okay. Place e4. Go for the Sicilian. Knight f3. Okay. This is the main line. Takes, and now the accelerated dragon with g6. Okay, place knight to c3. Not the best setup, I guess. The best one is to go for the Maroczy bind. Obviously here I attack the knight. Now probably this move, yeah. I just develop. And now bishop here is the main line. This is not a good move because I think I have this one. Knight g4. He cannot go here because I take, and I just want to get rid of this bishop. Now he can take. Okay, this is just bad. He can take and then go here. We're gonna analyze what I should do in that position. But obviously here I just take the bishop. If he takes with the queen, he just loses. And if he takes with the pawn, then his structure is bad. So I'm just already better. I'm not winning, but I do have a significant advantage. He's just realizing that he cannot take with the queen. And if he takes, I think I sack the knight for a pawn at least. Because this is check, so he has to take. And then I recapture with the b pawn. So I do not trade queens. I mean, I do not ruin my castling rights. But he spent, okay, 1 minute and 20 seconds on this move. Nice. I also have this idea. But I don't think it does much. So I'm just gonna castle. Because this, I mean, he can just walk. Let's see. Goes here. Yeah, now obviously I do not want to take. I think d6 is fine. There is also knight e5 to hit the bishop. Bishop goes back. Maybe this move. Maybe this move. Yeah, I like this one actually. To hit the pawn and hit the knight. Let's go here. This move, I just take, yeah, and the pawn is defended for now. I guess he can take, and then I move the king, and then he castles to defend the rook. Yeah, and then so knight is here. I guess I just attack the knight or something. Okay, but he just decides to blunder the pawn. Now, which one is better to take? I think the knight. Obviously this pawn is defended. Because if I take this one, then his rook just gets active. So let me just play it safe. I'm just gonna trade queens. No risk at all. Take and take. And I'm even gonna take the knight. Take the knight. Just play it simple. And now, if I go here, this move, but I guess I can just do this one. Obviously d6 is probably fine, but I don't see where I'm gonna put my bishop. I guess this idea. But also I like b6 just because the rook then doesn't have any pressure. I guess he can then push the pawns maybe. Okay, let's play d6. If bishop here, I obviously go e6. Yes, this pawn is weak. Okay, now I'm gonna go here. I do have some light score weaknesses, but obviously I have a light score bishop, so I'm gonna be able to. He's gonna push here, but I'm just gonna take and play e6, and then he doesn't have anything. Let's go here. I can also push. Actually, I like this move. Just push. And now attack the pawn. He can go here, actually, to ruin my pawns. Okay, but he doesn't see it. Now, obviously, I go e6. So this was... No, it wasn't a pawn sack, because he can take, but I think this was the best move for him to ruin my pawns. I should have gone e6 regardless. So not rook c8, even if it attacked the pawn. Okay, but now he just blundered, right? Because I have this move. Or I guess not, he can... No, but then it's a fork. Yeah, this is just game over. Yeah, this game was basically zero effort. Now I just take, and take. And I'm gonna sack the rook for the bishop probably. Just to... Because that's how I'm gonna win. Like, I cannot do anything else because the bishop is glued. I guess I could try to, you know, trade this pawn off and then push the pawn and then move the bishop and then I can win this one. But I can just play it simple, like just sack the rook for a pawn and a bishop. And now I'm just up 3 clean pawns. I can even go here and he has to either trade or lose another pawn, right? So this is just easily winning. I don't even need the king for this one. And then I would go a6 and then b5, right? So a6, b5, takes. I have 2 connected pawns. The king can never take 2 connected pawns because if he takes this one, then this one runs and he cannot catch it. So, okay, now the analysis. I played this game with 94.9% accuracy and a 2450 performance rating. This is the numbers I like to see. But okay, now let's get to the business. e4, obviously I played the Accelerated Dragon, so g6, and then he just blundered knight to g4. I mean, it's not really a mistake, it's, let's say, a slight inaccuracy to allow this move. And then in the game, he obviously blundered, but in the game I was thinking about, yeah, takes, and then I take, and then he goes here. And now in this position, bishop h6. Okay. Is that the... Oh no, dc, yeah, dc. That's what I should have done. So I should go to an endgame. If I take this way, so if I go here, I allow the queen trade, obviously. If I go this way, then this move, and then bishop to h6. Attacking the queen, queen d3, and then castles. Okay. And let's say h6, I just drop the knight back. Obviously, if takes and takes, I do not care about damaged pawn structure because I can always play f5 and open up my bishop again. But okay, apparently this is not the best way to play it. The best way is to go dc and then take, bishop to g5 or rook d1 check, let's say. This is a more human move. King c7. If check, I probably e5. And it looks like I'm blocking my bishop, but it's, yeah, that is the case. But now I have this strong outpost because the bishop is an extension of the pawn. So it's this square is now defended 2 times. So this, let's say the knight would be really strong on this square. And obviously if he wants to push the pawns on this side, he's just gonna open up my bishop later. So yeah, this is why e5 is not a problem. So okay, this is the way I should play if players go obviously for this the best line. But in the game he just blundered with h3, and now I obviously take the bishop. If he takes with the queen, he just loses a piece. If he takes with the pawn, which he did in the game, then this pawn structure is just trash. And notice also that now he has 2 pawns. So if he wants to open up my queen side later, doesn't matter what he does, I'm always gonna be able to close it down. So he wants to open it, I'm gonna be able to close it. Now why? Because he only has 2 pawns. Let's say castles. Let's say g4. I'm just gonna make some random moves. Let's say I go h6. He goes here. Now, if he plays h5, I'm gonna go g5. If he plays g5, I go h5. So I'm always able to close it down. And he doesn't have the f pawn to break the structure. So that's why these pawns are even worse than it looks like. Okay, now in the game I did castle. Apparently this move maybe to prevent some pieces to jump on b5, on the b5 square. Okay, queen b6, not the best move, but yeah, obviously I just wanted to attack the knight, I just wanted to attack the pawn. In the game I was looking at this move, and then okay, the line doesn't even work. So in the game I was calculating this move, and then here, and then I was calculating takes, and then take, and then take, and then I move, and then he castles to defend. But obviously I just take the rook. Yeah, I just take the rook, I don't even recapture the knight. So what even is the problem? Just castles, and I guess he defends both pawns. But yeah, now I just, okay, e6 to block the bishop, but I would probably just go d6 to block this file. And as I said, he doesn't have anything, he cannot crash through, so I'm gonna be the only one who's gonna have the attack. And also notice that this bishop is really strong, because now he doesn't have a dark squared bishop, so white doesn't have dark squared bishop, so he cannot I guess counter the diagonal. Okay, so yeah, this is how the game went. So queen to b6, he castles short, and now I obviously just grab the pawn, I trade down, and then he sidesteps, I just remove the knight, he takes, now he has another, actually he got rid of these double pawns, but now I just created another weakness for him. I go d6, all best moves. Obviously also this move is totally fine. The reason I didn't want to play it is just because it allowed, okay, but it's just, yeah, rook b8 in here. But I played d6 just to open up the path for the bishop. Yeah, obviously b6, now he's attacking the pawn, pressuring the pawn, so if I move he can take. I obviously just push. If this move, then I just sidestep and do this idea. Yeah, here I was thinking about so yeah, this move, because this is an idea sometimes to break the structure, but here it doesn't work because he just doesn't have enough pieces. Okay, but this is sometimes an idea to sack the pawn and then break the structure, but obviously he just doesn't have the pieces to exploit that. And now I just go e6, I didn't even want to take, just go e6, now the structure is solid, he cannot do anything, and then he blundered. I just take, and then always if the bishop and the pawn are connected, you're most likely gonna have to sack. Obviously, as I said in the game, I could have, or maybe I didn't say it in the game, but anyways, I could have just, let's say, slowly try to win this pawn and then maybe push this one and just kick the bishop and then win the c2 pawn, but I can just sacrifice, and now I'm just up 3 clean pawns, and that's the game. I go back, I basically force the rook trade. If he doesn't take, then I just take this one, and then I have 2 connected passers, and I have this one as well, just a complete win. And yeah, here he just resigned. So the way I would end the game is just a6, and then let's say king goes closer, I go here, he has to take. If he doesn't, I just take him. Let's say takes. So in the game I said I can win this position without even including the king. So let's say king e3, I would push, he goes here, I don't know, doesn't really matter this one, because notice that if he goes here, it's game over, I just push. So he cannot take this pawn, because if he tries to take it, then I just run. So he has to go up, and I would go f6, takes, and I have this one, and I would use this one as a distraction, and yeah, I mean, just three passed pawns is just more than enough. Computer wants, let's say, king c2, but I push e4, computer wants king to b3. Okay, but now just this move. Let's say he goes back, I go here. Yeah, now there is a barrier, so he cannot even stop that pawn. So yeah, this is true. I can win this position without even including the king, and it's really simple. Okay, but now let's go back. So this game, there isn't really much to talk about other than, as I said, this idea. So if he takes, I should take and then go into this endgame. So there is also an option that I decline the endgame, but then white is still a bit better with bishop d4, bishop h6. Okay, queen e2, queen d3 doesn't really matter, queen d1. Okay, queen d1. Ah, then knight f6, okay. Because now the knight is hanging, the rook is hanging. And obviously he cannot take because the queen is hanging. That's the point of bishop h6. If he goes back, I obviously take with the knight. So let's say this move or this move doesn't really matter. I castle. Notice that I can castle because this square is covered and the king isn't going through that square when castling, so that's why it's possible. If the bishop was controlling, let's say, g8 square, then castling isn't possible, okay? And yeah, that's what I can do if I don't want to go into an endgame. But obviously he just blundered. I'm gonna tell you one other thing. So why did he go for this setup? Because what usually happens is players go for this f3 and then long castle and then this setup, right? And this does work against the normal dragon Sicilian. But I'm playing the accelerated dragon. And accelerated dragon is a bit better than normal dragon, mainly because this setup just doesn't work. So now let me show you the difference. Normal dragon, now first. Normal dragon, this is what I used to play, is knight f3, d6, d4 takes, knight f6 attacking the pawn, they defend, and now g6. So this is the crossroad, this is the neither, the most, I guess the most testing variation. There is like a ton of theory. This is basically the Rui Lopez of Sicilians, okay? So neither is just a chaos. And g6, obviously there is also knight c6, I think there is also e5. But g6, this is the normal dragon Sicilian. And now bishop to e3. Wait, why is this move? Ah, yeah, this trap. I already forgot about this trap. I go here and now the bishop is pinned, so queen takes is just possible. And obviously if I block with the knight, then this move. Yeah, this is the reason why knight g4 doesn't work in this case. And it's because the king is opened up. In the normal dragon, I mean not in the accelerated dragon, you do not push d6, so you do not open the king. But okay, the line continues, bishop g7, f3 to prevent this move, castles, and now queen d2. Because now this move would be possible, but f3 prevents it. And now look at this position. In this position, the best move is d5 to open up the center. Or, no, the knight c6. I made a mistake. This is the position. In this position, d5 is the best move, okay? Now remember this, so d6 to d5, best move, and white already long castled. Now let's go back, now let's look at the accelerated dragon. Knight f3, knight c6, takes, g6, let's say here, knight to f6. Let's take this setup, for example. Okay, so this position. This is the same position, but in the normal dragon, the pawn is on d6 and white is already castled. And then you push d5. Accelerated dragon, you can push d5 immediately. So you're up a tempo. White didn't castle yet. So that's why this is called the Yugoslav setup. This setup for white. it doesn't work against the Accelerated Dragon. So that's the reason why I like the Accelerated Dragon more compared to the normal Dragon. Because in the normal Dragon, if they play this Yugoslav setup, which is actually pretty easy to play, it's totally like just F3, just this setup, and that's it. They can also play it in bullet, and you just get crushed. And you have to go for this d5 move. As you can see, I mean, Queen a5 is also an option, but it's already +1, so this is basically just almost losing. So you have to go d5. But in the Accelerated Dragon, you can go d5 immediately, and as you can see, you're a bit better. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you next time.